What's up, everybody? This is David Branderhorst, and in this video we're going to be talking about the most dangerous kind of belief. Now, before we get started, if you can remember to hit that like and subscribe button to be notified of future content, we would greatly appreciate it. Now, if you're like most people, whenever you've accomplished something that was important to you or meaningful to you, you know that the first thing you had to do is believe that you are able to achieve the thing that you're trying to do. And in fact, if we're honest, we have to understand that belief is the foundation of everything that we've ever achieved. I want you to think about it this way. Beliefs are the thing that drive our actions. Actions are the thing that drive our results. Now, I want you to think about this. If you've ever been in a situation where you didn't believe that you could do something. Now, I want you to think about an example like this, because this is kind of an easy one to associate with. If you remember, if you're a boy or a male and you remember what it was like to be a teenage boy, you remember those awkward years during junior high and high school where there was a girl that you liked and there was this moment where you're sitting there going, oh, I really would like to ask her out. I really would like to, get to know her better. But I don't believe that she would ever say yes. And I don't believe that she would ever agree to go out on a date with me. And if that was the case, what would happen is you would absolutely not ask that girl out on a date. Why? Because you have convinced yourself that it is not going to end well. You've convinced yourself that she's going to reject you, that then people are going to find out that you asked her out and they're going to laugh at you. Your friends are going to make fun of you for failing and all of those things. The only way that you're going to move forward with that is if you have a belief that the chance of her saying yes is out there, that there's actually a decent possibility that she will say yes. That is what's going to drive your actions, because again, beliefs will then determine our actions. If we believe something is possible, if we believe something can be done, that will lead us to take actions in that direction, and those actions will then get us the results that we're trying to achieve. Now, as we think about our beliefs, we need to understand how these beliefs are formed and the importance of beliefs in our lives. I want you to think about this. I want you to think about beliefs like a tabletop. Okay? Think about beliefs as if they were a tabletop. And every leg that goes under that tabletop is a supporting idea. Now, if there is one leg under your table, that table is pretty wobbly. That table is pretty unstable, and it's going to be very easy to knock over. But if you continue to add legs underneath this table, one after another and after another, and you keep going until you have a large number of legs under that table, and I know my table looks ridiculous, but go with me for just the analogy, how hard would it be to knock this table over? Well, quite difficult, honestly, unless you flipped it, because this table is extraordinarily stable now. It's extraordinarily sturdy. Now, here's what I want you to think about. When we think about our beliefs, here's one of the biggest mistakes I think we make, is we have something that we want to do with our lives. It could be that we have a business that we want to start, or maybe a nonprofit that we want to create because there's something in our heart that we want to do, and we want to make a difference in the world with our business or with our service. And there's something we really want to do, and we talk to somebody and that person says, hey, that sounds like a great idea. I think you should do it. And now we have one leg underneath our table. And let's say, you went to have that conversation with that person and they got you all fired up and you're all excited. And then on the way home from meeting with this individual, you got stuck in some really bad traffic and you ended up with, people cutting you off and driving really rudely. Perhaps you got a call from someone, and maybe it was someone that you were doing some work for, and they said, well, we're not going to be able to move forward with the project, so we're going to have to cancel working with you. So you just lost a lot of money in that deal. And then you get home and you find out your cat threw up on the carpet, and now you got to go clean up the mess. So what just happened in that scenario? You went from, man, I can do this. This is great. I'm excited. I'm really convinced that I could do it, to now a series of challenges and negative events have happened that have moved in front of you that are now determining a very different mindset. They're causing you to think about these things in a very different way. You're all of a sudden now, instead of being super pumped and super encouraged, you're actually discouraged, and you're actually feeling down about things, and you don't feel strongly about your chances for success like you did before, because you now all of a sudden, the most recent thing that happened to you is they're discouraging things. Now, going back to our table analogy, I want you to think about what happened. You have a belief that you should do something, that you should start your own business, that you should do this thing that's going to make a difference in the world. And you got somebody to provide support for that. You got somebody who said, that sounds like an amazing idea. I totally think you should run with it and do it. But you only had one leg underneath your table. And far too often what we do is we go out and we occasionally, once every few weeks or once every few months, we will go out and find somebody who helps us and supports us and gives us encouragement and belief in our dream. But what ends up happening in the meantime is there's lots of discouraging events. Now, maybe those discouraging events don't happen all one on top of each other like I described earlier, but they can happen over time. And let's say you go out and you only get encouragement and you only get a belief spoken into your life and put into your life once every 3 months. You go off and hear somebody who is a motivational speaker. You go out and have a conversation with somebody who really shows belief in what it is that you're trying to do. Maybe you read something that really convinces you, yes, this is what I need to do. It's something I should do. I can do this thing. This is possible. This is totally achievable by me. But then you don't get anything else on it. And challenges and frustration and discouragement come your way throughout your life. What the most dangerous kind of belief is the kind of belief that's only supported occasionally. Okay? And so often, this is how I believe so many of us do. We go out and occasionally we get someone to speak positive about our dream. Occasionally we get motivated. Occasionally we listen to someone speak who motivates us to keep going and keep trying. But then in our daily lives, in the things that we do on a regular basis, we have challenge, problem, discouragement. Another issue came up. Another challenge came up. Something else just went wrong. Oh man, I can't work on this now because my kid got sick, or I got to go deal with this. And there's all these distractions and all these discouraging events that can happen over the course of time. And if you only put a one leg underneath your table is going to fall over and your belief is going to break and it's going to be shattered. Doing this where you're only building belief into your dream, into the thing that you want to achieve on an occasional basis, it's kind of like going to the gym once every 3 months and hoping to get in shape. It just doesn't work. You can't do that and hope to get the result that you want. If you want to get in shape, you have to exercise on a regular basis. You have to go and you have to do this on a consistent and regular basis so that your body becomes conditioned to getting into a healthier state. Your body becomes conditioned to being challenged physically so that it learns to build up muscle and strength and endurance. Now, we understand that physically. We understand that if we want to become strong, we have to challenge ourselves. We have to consistently do it. But when it comes to our attitude, to our spirit, to our heart, we don't always take that same approach. We go off every once in a while and do something to support our beliefs, our spirit, our emotional state, our dreams, but we don't do it on a consistent daily basis. And that is where we run into problems. Because inevitably what happens if we only go out and occasionally consume things that are going to feed our beliefs, that are going to cause us to continue to press forward, they're going to cause us to continue to take action, we're going to set ourselves up for the yo-yo effect. You're going to go out, you're going to hear somebody give an emotional, motivational talk, and you're going to come out and say, yes, I can do this, I'm excited, I'm amped, I'm ready to go. And then you're going to consume all sorts of negativity and all sorts of problems and all sorts of challenges over the next several weeks. Well, that one instance of motivation has worn off. And now you've gotten your hopes up, you've gotten your dream put out there, and you got yourself pushed out into a place where you're all excited about what you can do. And now it's just dripping and dripping away. And you're on this yo-yo, you're on this roller coaster where you're going up and down. And you're getting your butt kicked by yourself, honestly, by not feeding your dream, by not feeding belief into your life, by not feeding your spirit and your emotional state. We need to treat our emotional state and our mental state and our spirit like we treat our bodies. If we're going to be serious about getting healthy, we need to be consistent with our actions on that side of our life. If we want to consistently achieve our dream, if we want to consistently make progress, we need to be taking actions on a daily basis that are going to feed our dream, that are going to be speaking life into our dream, that are going to be doing things for us that are going to cause us to continue to stay in the game and continue to take action. Otherwise, we're on the yo-yo. We get super excited. We're going to do this thing. We're going to be great. And then discouragement comes and 3 months in the gutter again. And then we talk to somebody who gets us motivated again and then down into the gutter again. And eventually what will happen? You'll get discouraged, you'll give up, and you quit. Because this yo-yo and this roller coaster that you're on is painful. And it hurts. And it's difficult to go on. And finally you can't take the pain anymore. You can't take the discouragement and you give up. No, we need to be honest about ourselves, and we need to understand that our mental state needs to be fed, just like our bodies. And I want to talk to you today about some things that you can be doing on a daily and regular basis to give yourself the greatest chance of success in this area. So I want to be talking to you today a little bit about building your belief structure. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is you need to make sure that you have the right people in your life. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean people who believe in you. Look, let's be honest. We've all had people in our lives who we've met, who we've spent time with. Maybe a lot of times it's one of our parents that we had that were important figures in our lives, and they just were constantly negative on us. They didn't believe in us, and they always doubted us and always said, you can't do that. You're not going to be able to do this. You're not going to be able to handle that. Who do you think you are? You're never going to achieve those things. Those are the kind of people that are going to kill your dream. Those are the kind of people that are going to be taking the legs right out from underneath your table. Instead, you need, and again, I understand that if some of those people are related to you, you can't eliminate your relatives, but you need to make sure that you're surrounded yourself with people who actually are going to believe in you, who are actually going to support you. You also need to make sure that you have people that call you out, because here's another important aspect of all this. You will only achieve your dream when you become the person who is ready to achieve your dream. All of us have things in our heart, in our mind, in our attitudes, and our approaches that aren't as good as they could or should be for us to be able to do the thing that we want to do. We need people who are truth tellers in our lives. If you surround yourself only with yes people who are only there, who are going to say, yeah, I know you can do it, it's great, but no one ever calls you out on your blind spots. No one ever calls you out and says, hey man, you need to do better at this. You need to improve in this area. You need to get better here. Then you're not going to make it. You need that balance. You need the belief. You need the people that you know care about you, that believe in you, that are supporting you, but people who also say, hey, look, you got to get better here. This is something you're going to need to improve, because when you do, that's when you're going to get there. And that's when you're going to know what you need to work on so that you can achieve your goal. And you need people who are ahead of you. There is no greater encouragement in my mind than hanging out with people who have done the thing that you're trying to do. People who have achieved that dream. Because what does that do? Is that totally builds up inside of you the belief that this is possible, because look, this person over here has already done it. This person over here has already achieved the thing I'm trying to do. So if they did it, I can do it too. The next thing is the right environment. Are you putting things in your daily environment that are going to speak faith and belief in what you're trying to do? Do you have daily reminders of your goal and what it is that you're trying to do and how important it is? Look, I keep Post-it notes on my monitor. I have little Post-it notes that are there to help me throughout all the day. Things like, you can do this. You can do this. That's not meant to be rah-rah. That's just a reminder of what is in front of you can be done. What is in front of you is possible for you to achieve. The next thing I have is solve the next problem. You see, sometimes what we're trying to achieve, especially if we have a big dream, can get overwhelming. It can be too much. It can be so much that we just get overwhelmed by it because we feel like, I got 50 things that need to be done. How am I ever going to do it? A wise man once shared with me, don't worry about all those things. Just solve the next problem that's in front of you. What do you need to do next? What's the next step in the journey? The next problem that you need to solve? Focus on that and solve that. And then once you get that good, move on to the next thing. And then my last one I'll share with you here is I have another one that says, what is great about this? That's simply my reminder that no matter what is going on in your life, no matter the good or the bad, there's always something that can be looked at from a positive perspective. You can always look at your problems and say, you know what? That person just totally screwed me over and treated me like dirt. But guess what? That person's now out of my life and I don't have to deal with all their garbage anymore. So you can always find something that's great about it. You can always find a way to see the good in things if you will intentionally try so that you don't get stuck in negativity. Lastly, I want to encourage you to make sure you have the right inputs. By that I mean what you read regularly. What are you consuming? Are you consuming negative news? Are you watching the news on TV? Are you doing things that are, constant negative news about all the things going on in the world, all the stuff that's happening, bad, terrible things? There's plenty of it out there, don't worry. What are you watching regularly? What are you listening to regularly? See, these are all things. These are all things that are incredibly important. These are all things that what you are consuming, because if you're sitting there watching the news and all the terrible things and the awful things that people do to each other, the news gives you nothing but the most negative view of the world possible. If they can find something awful, they're going to talk about that. And the only reason they stop talking about it is because they found something else that was worse. And they can talk about that now. And what happens is your spirit becomes discouraged after a while. And you start thinking, man, I live in such a messed up world. This is awful. And you can get stuck in the drama. What happened with that? What's going on with this? And you need to make sure that what you're reading, what you're watching, what you're listening to is building you up. It's giving you belief. That's causing you to be stronger. That's causing you to have more belief and giving you more tools, resources, and hope than what you had before. So make sure that you do that. Make sure you're cognizant of what you're listening to and what your inputs are in your life. In summary, I just want you to have you take this away. Having belief, which is critical to you achieving anything in your life, it's not a one-time event. You cannot build belief in yourself, in your dream, and what it is that you try to do by going to somebody one time or once every so many weeks and getting pumped up and getting excited and getting, belief built into you there, and then going back to a daily routine of negativity and discouragement and expect to succeed. No, belief comes on a daily basis. Belief is something that needs to be fed into your soul, into your spirit, into your emotions on a daily basis. Surround yourself with things that are going to cause you to believe in yourself, to cause you to believe in your dream and the goals that you want to achieve. Don't become unrealistic, but do things that are going to encourage you and give you the attitude that, hey, I can do this, and that will cause you to keep taking action. Because when you take action, every action, even if it's not successful, moves you closer to your goal. Because even if you had a failure, that failure now shows you one of the ways that you shouldn't do something. And now you can eliminate that as an option and know that you need to do it a different way next time to be able to be successful. So that's it for this one. I hope you found this video helpful. As always, I hope you have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Take care, everybody.